Memorial Day. Today we remember those that gave their lives. That's really what the day is meant to be. Thinking about why folks did what they did. Some for valor, some for medals, but all for something bigger than themselves, I suppose. That was inherently there. It's something we all have in common. What's bigger than ourselves? I don't claim to know what that is. I have ideas. But this is a day truly in memorial to soldiers, to veterans of all sorts, to anyone who's passed, giving to a greater good, something bigger than them. It's that simple. It's not about car accidents or drinking or really much of anything else. So spend the day in retrospection. Spend the day thinking of the lessons from the past that we need to remember and carry forward. That we've been led into so many of these wars for false reasons and never learned why, because the victors write history. Our travels are about the future. Where does the next meal come from? Most people aren't in that position. It's taken for granted. So the smaller things you have to worry about in life, the larger things get lost. And that's just a fact. So remember the fallen. Remember the firemen heroes of 9/11 that honestly knew what they were getting into. Not a one of them didn't have an idea that they were going to get in trouble. Not one. To all the children that have died in school shootings, in memorial of the weapons that some people have to have, the insecurities that breed all of these things. And I understand. I truly do. But weapons are words. They're the best we've got. They're the most effective words, weapons, tools that we have. They can make people break bones. But shouldn't be able to. Words are triggers that will make people just go off a deep end. And you'll wonder where they went because you don't understand enough. Some, but not enough. So you see a triggered person and you get triggered and you freak out and battle back against them. And it's hard to fight those reactions. But here's the bottom line, folks. The hippies in the 60s were right. Middle-class America in the 60s was right. Eventually, enough people saw the war was bullshit. And we ended it after how many years? How many years did we play there? We played a diplomatic game with China, using nations and tens of thousands of our men and theirs to fight something we don't even know what it was. My suspicion is it was an excuse to bomb Buddhists. That was the largest part of the war, but, in memorial, with respect, too many of my friends had jobs that didn't exist in Nam. Off-book jobs, off-record jobs, out-of-conversational reach jobs. Too many of my associates that have been in South American jobs This is a Republican jobs program. Can't tell their stories because they got too close to some very ugly politics. The same politics we're playing. You know, the Persians are one of the longest lived civilizations on the planet. The Persians outlive so many civilizations have come and gone by those people. They have learned over time that the desert comes and goes, and they have to live with it. And they will live with it. The knowledge those peoples have of their area and their lands is admirable. How they manage it is questionable. Is it fair? Is it right? Is it our business? This is about mineral wealth and power. This is what Memorial Day is about. All the soldiers that died for someone else's power. All the massive corporations that never lost in these wars. The corporate names disappeared and went away and became something else. The papers that defined those corporations are still there. The words in our Constitution that give corporations direct access to the House and the Senate is written in laws. It's in the Constitution. How that gets interpreted and enforced is up to people that I don't trust anymore. The legal profession is a joke. This idea of certifications and accreditations is a joke. I enjoy people defending college accreditation, and I understand why, but you're like a religion. You're ignoring the rest of the bullshit out there, because you realize when you open that can up, you might have a few worms in yours too. So what? Fix them. Or breed the worms. You know they're there. Breed the fuckers. Sorry, language. So, there is a non-theistic view of our future. We're not learning. Public education should have some civics lessons inside of it. Why would that be? Why wouldn't you want everybody in America to understand how the government is supposed to? Why would you do that? Why would you put something else in front of understanding that basic concept? Because common laws are what puts child molesters in prison. Common law is supposed to be what takes care of fascist pigs trying to gain power. Common law is supposed to protect us from words wrapped in faith that are meaningless to most of the other denominations out there. Separating the chaff from the wheat, how about that one? So, in memorial to the walking wounded, to the too many women that have been molested, is a male who thought he was, somewhere in the middle of the herd, I guess. It is so disheartening to hear so many people have been raped and molested, including men. All you women that have been molested, imagine how men that have been molested feel, how they can't speak to that, how being raped by a priest is just not something they could bring up in conversation at all, because people don't want to think about the bigger picture. They want to isolate and slice and dice us apart. But hate is hate. Terrorism is terrorism. Yes, there are subsets of this thing. But overall, if you punch somebody in the face, there's something wrong with you. They triggered you. You probably have a problem with the trigger. When they got you to swing, they won, even if they lost. Take a breath. Take a breath. Think about it. There's lots of words for this. You can go into meditation, you can go into mindfulness, you can go into Socratic methods, you can go into stop and take a breath and back away. If you don't want to turn your back on whatever, back away and take a picture. Back away and record it. Or do what you need to do. So, went too long again. Thank you all. Thank you all a lot. All 7 or 8 of you that watch these, but hey, it's cathartic. Do one yourself. Try it. It's YouTube. It's the real world out there. Share.